Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad Bilal, as you all are familiar with my name, and I am your instructor. Today, we are going to start our course of functional English, and today we are going to start from the first topic, that is pressure writing. So, first of all, what is meant by pressure writing? Without wasting any time, we are going to start our lecture so that this video not take much time of your precious time, because time is very important in life. So everyone should take care of their time. Never ever waste time in your life. Time is very important. So I will never take much time from your life. Let's get started. First one is pressy writing. What is meant by pressy? Pressy is a art of summarizing. If you ask me for a simple definition, then I will read it for you. A essential skill in many facets of our life is summarizing. This is the introduction of pressy writing. And the word pressy comes from a French word, means precise. Precise, short writing, short size, small size. So it also get a meaning of accurately expressed. Pressy writing. And another name of pressy writing is condensation, art of condensation. So you say, if anyone asks you for a pressy, what is meant by pressy, then you can simply answer to him that it is the art of summarizing or art of condensation, and it comes from a French word whose meaning is precise. That is the introduction of pressy, and this is very important in our life. Why? Because in pressy writing, we decrease the size of the passage. We decrease the size of our message. We decrease the size of a story, a novel, anything that is relevant to art, art of writing or a literature, work of any literature. We just have to concise that, and this is called pressy. So that was a simple introduction of the pressy. There are the three main requirements of a pressy. First one is it must be in the form of continuous narrative. For example, it should be a continuous lecture, continuous writing. For example, it should not be like that you have read the first sentence of introductory paragraph and the other sentence from the conclusion. It would never be like that. It should be a complete sentence. It should be a proper sentence formation, a proper introduction, a body paragraph, and conclusion, art of a series. It should be in this sense, not in this sense that the first line is another talking about another thing else, and the next sentence is just not combining with the first one. The second requirement is it should include all the important ideas expressed in the original passage. For example, if we are going to precise a passage, then first of all we should have to focus on the main points of the passage. The main points never ever miss in the passage. That is the main most important thing in the passage writing. So first of all, we just have to highlight the main themes, main points, main passage, main messages. The next one, third one, and the last requirement of a press is we can exclude the unimportant and irrelevant things. That is also important because we have to precise the passage. It doesn't mean that there is a passage of half page and you have a press in one page. It never means that. The size of the passage is the one third size of the passage. If we compare with the original passage, it should be the one third. So that was the three requirements of the pressing. Hope you will understand. And next one is use of the pressing writing. How this pressy writing is useful in our study, in our education system, in our knowledge. So the first one is reading. First one is reading. How press is important in our reading. For example, if we have to read a passage whose 2 pages long, for example, 2 pages long, then how Pressy help us to understand this passage of 2 pages? When we are going to read, we just highlight or underline the main lines, the main points, the main themes. At the end, when we read out these main points or main themes, we will get the message of a writer. That is the art of a press writing. Hope you all will understand, and because I think so that I am speaking so fastly, but you will understand the main passage how passage is important in our reading. If we are reading a passage, we just have to underline the main lines, the main points, and we will get at the last the main point, main theme, that is press of the passage. Next one is writing. How press is helpful in our writing. For example, Prezi is a precise message that is very short. That is the one third of the original passage or message or any other form of literature. So in writing, we have not enough time. Prezi help us to explain, to elaborate our meaning in shortest form. We will try our best to explain our whole message in just a little words, maybe 10 words. If the passage is of 30 words, then it would be in 3 words. That is the Prezi method. Next one is practical life. How press is helpful in our practical life. So how it is helpful in our real life, because in real life we have not enough time to read out all the passages. For example, if we are reading the novel, then someone have no enough time to read the whole novel of 400 pages. Then the press will help him to learn the main themes, the main points, the main characters of the novel. That is also known as a summary of the novel. In this way, press is helpful for in our original in our practical life. Now we are going to discuss the essential of the good press. The qualities that make a press a good and effective impressive press are as follows. The first quality is a good press should give the leading thoughts and the general impression of the passage summarized. What it does mean? A good passage should contain the main point, the main title, the main theme of the whole passage, and the general impression that it is not mean that we are skipping any part of the passage, any main part of the passage. We are just writing overall. We are not writing just for the introductory paragraph or the body paragraph or the conclusion. We are writing the passage throughout the passage. What is the second quality of a good press? The second quality is a good press should be a continuous and compact piece of prose. As we have already discussed that a press should be in continuous form, should be sentences that are in a continuous manner. The third one is a pressy should be clear. What does it mean? A pressy should be clear. It means that we are not going to use the complex word in our pressy that are not understandable by a simple student or a teacher, because there are many words that we can use. There are complex words or the simple words, but what we have to do, we just have to use the simple words as simple as we can use. So the pressy should be clear. That is also the quality of a good pressy. Next one is the fourth one is a pressy should be precise and brief. As we have already discussed that thing, that the pressy is the one third of the original passage. So the pressy should be brief and precise. The fifth one is a pressy should not be sketchy. What does it mean? It should be complete, contain all that is important in the original. For example, we are not going to write and write and write, just writing. No, we are not going to do so. We have to focus the main points in the original passage and to write these main points in our pressy. That is the pressy method. Last one is to learn to distinguish between what is essential to the development of the writer thought and what is not essential to it. What does it mean? We have just to focus on the essential things that are important for a passage, and we have to just ignore the things that are not important, that are unnecessary, that are extra material in the passage. We are just ignoring that thing. These are the 6 qualities that make a passage an impressive and a good passage. uh, you all have to take the register with the lecture. As you are listening the lecture, you have to note down the points that I am going to tell you. Hope you all are doing so with the lecture. Now, at last, we are going to discuss the method of the procedure of passive writing. We are going to learn how we can write a important and a good passive. So, I will discuss the some main points by following which we can write a good passive. So, the first one is reading. Reading is the most important factor in writing a passage. Why? Because when we read a passage, for example, we are given a passage of one pages and we have to write one page, and we are going to write the passage of that one page passage. So what will we do? We will do reading. Reading is most important. When we read the passage once, we will get almost the most important message that the writer is conveying in the passage. But we can't write the passage by reading the passage at once time. We have to read it again and again and again. You can say as 4 or 5 times we have to read the passage to get the main points, the main themes, the main aims of the writer in the passage. The next one is how to find the title. The next procedure method of procedure of writing a good passage is how to find the title. We have also to give the title of a passage. For example, we are just given a passage and there is no title, but what is the method to find a title in a passage? The most common thing in searching the title of the passage is that almost 90% of the passages contain their title in first or the last line of the passage. That is a general method. You can see if you have a English composition book and you have some passages, then you can note that the main title is in the first line or in the last line. That is general. So the second method of procedure is to find the main title. The third one is detailed study of the passage. As I have already told you that we can't write the passage by reading the passage one time. We have to read it again and again and again so that we can get the much knowledge of the passages, so we can easily write the passage. The fourth one is selection. Selection mean what? We have to select, we have to highlight, we have to underline the main themes, the main points, the main passage, main things in the passage, the main aims of the writer as we are studying the passage. For example, I am reading the passage and I have just a pencil and I am going to highlight or underline the main things, the main sentences, and at last when I will combine these sentences, I will get the main idea of the passage and I will get a great passage of the passage. The last one is writing rough drafts. What does it mean, writing rough drafts? That I will write the rough writing of the passage. It is not possible that at the once time I will write a great pressing. I just write again and again and again, and I will update it along with the side, and so that at the last I will get a good pressing. That was our today's topic, and hope you all will get a much better understanding about the topic, that how can we write the Prezi, what are the main aims, what are the main themes, and what are the requirements of the Prezi, and what are the essentials of a good Prezi, and at last we have discussed the procedure of a Prezi. So thank you so much for listening, and Allah Hafiz.